So everybody seems to be taking Mounjaro or GLP-1s or the fat jab, if that's what you'd like to call it. And you're wondering whether that's what you need to try in order to get your weight finally shifting and start seeing the results that you're looking for. Now, I am not dead against these jabs, but I do believe that there are certain people and scenarios that they are useful for and certain people and scenarios that they are not useful for. I'm Heather and I help busy women feel well. I've got 20 years experience in helping literally hundreds of people make sustainable changes to their diet and exercise routine, including Helen. In this video, I'm going to explain to you who GLP-1s are not for and who GLP-1s might be for. And if you think that they might be for you, how you can use them in the healthiest way to try and make sure that you get long-term benefits out of them. So, first, let's look at who GLP-1s are definitely not for. Now, if you are generally pretty consistent with your diet and exercise, they're probably not for you. If you are generally eating as little as you can eat and still not seeing the results, you need a different approach which does not involve a GLP-1. If you are feeling like you just need to cut that little bit more energy out of your diet, that few more calories out of your diet in order to see changes, then they're probably not for you either. It's very common for people sort of around about 40, maybe late 30s to late 40s, to be in the bracket of people most tempted to try these. And I think part of the reason is that you start to see hormone change at that sort of time of life. And some of the first signs of hormone change include weight being a little bit more stuck and the things that you've tried before not really working as well as they used to get the weight off. And in this scenario, I would point you towards trying a hormone balancing approach from your diet and not kind of punishing your body and restricting your intake any further with the GLP-1s. And interestingly, one of the things that I would strongly suggest to you in that position would be to really increase your protein intake up to about 2 grams of protein per kilo of your body weight, which really is a bit of a project to actually eat that much consistently every single day. The reason that that's so important is that the protein actually stimulates the natural GLP-1 in our guts. So that might be a really appropriate way around getting the benefits while still starting to balance your hormones without trying to sort of cut down your intake as much as possible. Now, let's think about the person who these GLP-1s really could very well be useful for. Now, you will be the person who is really struggling. Now, you might have a good idea for what you need to do, but you're likely really struggling to put it into action. So it's almost that food noise. You're sort of constantly thinking about food. There's probably a lot of snacking going in. There's probably a feeling of kind of lack of control, maybe a little bit of binging going on, and just really struggling to separate yourself from the food. It might be, as I say, that you know what you need to do, but it's very, very hard to really put it into action. It's very likely that you are also eating a lot more calories than your body needs, and you are consistently gaining weight and have been for quite a long time. Now, if this is you, then a GLP-1 could provide you with some benefit because it has the wonderful effect of just quieting that food noise. And for you, that could be really, really good. So How do you do it without creating long-term issues? We see a lot of headlines about GLP-1s creating effectively malnourishment issues, osteoporosis, loss of muscle, all of those kinds of things that we don't really want. And I think a lot of people, when they're using the GLP-1s incorrectly, are just chasing that lower on the scales and just enjoying the fact that they don't feel like eating anymore, almost getting into a chase to the bottom almost. And I don't believe that that's going to result in an optimal long-term health status for your body. So if you are going to give it a try, we need to make sure that we are using it as a way to put long-term habits into place. So whether you know what you need to do and you're struggling, or you just don't know what to do, but you know you need to do something, you need to be very clear on how you are going to put these things into place while you're taking the GLP-1, so as those habits are as cemented in as they can possibly be to make it easier to maintain when you stop taking the GLP. So what are those habits that are really important? Well, first up, again, is protein intake. And protein is super nutrient dense. There are people that live literally on protein. It's possibly a fairly extreme diet, but for some people, they do really well on a pure protein diet. And I say that just to illustrate the fact that you can get what you need out of protein. So if while you're taking the GLP-1, your appetite is through the floor, you really need to be prioritizing eating protein. Ideally, getting up to that 2 grams of protein per kilo of your body weight number, or as close to that as you can possibly manage. Now, once you've prioritized that, the next thing you need to be doing is strength training. So we're saying to your body with the protein, please maintain muscle mass. And then we need to strength train in order to send that signal to our bodies in a different way as well. So following a really good strength training workout is really important here as well. Now, when you are taking a GLP-1, because your appetite is through the floor, because you're not eating enough for sort of energy production and to really get after it in the gym, we need to moderate how much effort we're putting into those workouts. We perhaps need to do 1 or 2 strength exercises, 3, 4, maybe 5 days a week, and really cap it at that. We need to remember or view the GLP-1 as a way to create long-term habit. We're not looking at it from a view to punish ourselves and really get as hard into this exercise and diet as we possibly can. So with the right mindset in mind, we see that we eat the protein to prioritize, we gain a bit of a routine with the exercise, and that helps prevent muscle loss, maintain a bit of bone density, and put foundations in place for the future. I think it's really important with the GLP-1s that you don't just ride the wave and enjoy how little you want to eat and how low the scales can drop. I don't think that's the right way to view it. We need to view it as the future and the thing that helps us create good routines in the future. Now, I would love to hear how it goes for you and whether these tips have been useful. And please report back and let me know how you've gone.